Mm-hmm. It's about that time. Tuesday night live streams on the Emceemur show, taking a fantastic look at Trails of Cold Steel 3. If you watched the review that I put up today, then you've already seen a little of the game, but you've not seen nearly enough, and neither have I. So for all those reasons and more, let's continue on. Orbal Mail, he's got his orb phone. Probably got a pretty good data plan on that. This is a fantastic game. One thing it does have, though, is a lot of cutscenes. Now, I've had people in the past say, oh, I don't like games where you have to read a lot, but I like role-playing games. Well, if you like role-playing games, you're going to read, so. Let's check our mail. Thank you message from Elise. We sent her a gift. Regarding the handkerchief. I've received your gift. Ring is beautiful and ever so soft to the touch. It's a lovely fact that I'm afraid to give it dirty, but I can't possibly stand to use it. I'll cherish it always. I might wipe my butt with it. Geez, funny, a handkerchief should be used. Well, at least she likes it. Alright, good for her. So we've gone through a giant cutscene and action on this train, and we've played some cards with some of the characters, and now we're outside with the same characters, and we're going to talk to all these characters again. Because that's what you do. Yeah, no, if you mind reading, this is definitely not a game for you. But I don't. And, there's a library where there's all this lore to read, just like Witcher, games like that, or Skyrim. I would read the books. I thought they were so cool. Pablo's in charge of weapons. Kyrie, medicine. Alright, well. We did need some weapons, I think. So let's talk about weapons. Let's strengthen our weapons. Or maybe we can buy weapons first. I don't know. Wish I didn't have to keep reminding everyone, though. Captain Retro and the Ice Pirate have joined us. I'm absolutely shocked at that. Anyway, geez. A shout if you've got any... Yeah, I have weapon issues. Oh, I don't like the sound of that, Ice. No storms allowed. Alright, let's see what dude's got here. Oh, look at all this. Oh, well, we have to have that. Oh, we have an upgrade here for Yuna. And we've got better swords for Kurt. Boy, they get you here. There's even a better hookup for Altina's robot. Now, I don't have money for all this. But I've got to come up with some money for something. We already buffed Reen with a critical enhancement through an accessory that he put on. That's a tough choice. And honestly, Kurt just doesn't do a lot of damage. But I think it's Yuna we want to buff, and she has the most affordable route to go. So, Corey says, decided to stop lurking and join the fun. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Because that's why we're here. I looked through the live streams last night, all the ones we've ever done, going through there and fixing the descriptions and stuff on them. And I was like, man, we've done a lot of live streams. We've had a lot of great times on the show. And we're nowhere near done. So the time has never been better to get in on said fun. I can't sell... You know what? I can sell some of this crap. Sticky mucus. I mean, this is the kind of stuff is like later you're going to regret having sold it, but it's like... Man, homeboy needs some weapons.
Be well.
We need some weapons.
Have a look-see.
And they give you the option to strengthen and customize said weapons. So we don't want to customize busted old weapons. We want to get some good ones. Yes. And then you can equip right there. So look how streamlined that is, for a UI. That's just fantastic. There's nothing to hate there. I love everything about this game. I just do. Oh man, we just don't have a lot of money. We don't want to sell any of these, and we don't really want to sell our Sepith stones, because that's what we make better quartz with, but my goodness, we have the chance to really get some cash here. I'll be picking up that steel book. I hear you, man. I'd almost just go ahead and buy the game too, just to get that, because steel books on PS4 for me, I kind of got a collection going on that, and that's just one of those things. So, speaking of that, we're joined by Triple J Towns, James Jonas. Is money hard to come by? So far it has been, because they don't just hand you piles and piles of gold like a normal RPG, but you get all kind of resources that you can exchange for gold in town, but you're still going to need them, so that becomes a double-edged sword. You don't want to exchange too much and find yourself short when you need those items. So it makes you strategize in every last, department of the game. What does he want for the... Kurtz would be 2,000. Dudes would be 2. So we need 4,000 bucks. I mean, I'd really like to get Altina hooked up too, but there's got to be a way to get some bread. Let's talk about strengthening the weapons. What would I need? Well, that's her old one, so can we sell that? I'm sitting here like I don't have that to sell. Somebody probably needs those. Okay. I want to check her equipment real quick. She's got boots. She's got the silver star. He has boots. She has boots. So we got an extra pair of boots we don't need. We're economizing. We're going to make it happen.
Have a look-see.
So we're going to sell that. We don't need those boots. We probably found those. You just don't get a lot of money for some of this stuff. Beast flesh. A very gamey taste. Now I'm imagining later through the cooking that you can do in this game that you'll be able to use these things to cook up things that will really heal you. But, that would save money because buying healing stuff is awfully very expensive. Triple J says it is hard to get money early on. I think you get a big old payday if you port a save from the last game. That's interesting. Well, again, like I said in the review, I'm going backward on these, so it's just something I'm going to have to deal with. Surely we'll get more of this stuff, right? Right? Tell me I'm right. Okay. So we want to buy... We're going to buy Dude's sword because he needs to... He's the hard hitter, and Altina is really more support the way we've got her set up, so... They are dressed and ready for that. I love the costumes. Absolutely cool. So the other two games were on PS4. They were on PS3, and they are on PS4 now. So that's what's really brought this to light, is you've got the whole trilogy in current gen now that, for anyone that didn't get in on it, get in on it. And there was some action on Vita too. Because Vita gets every great RPG. Just does. Why don't I still don't have a Vita. I got to do something about that this year.
Be well. Have a look-see.
Well, we don't want to sell that, but I should have equipped it from that screen, and I didn't. I'm used to doing things the hard way. Boom.
Have a look-see.
A little bit of money.
See ya.
So dude's going to give us a side quest here more than likely. Uncle Strange has joined us. Welcome, Unc. Great to have you on Tuesday night live streams. Here's the guy with the giant eyes that likes to hunt things. The characters are very three-dimensional, like I said in the review, so you don't mind the dialogue. And I would be lying if I said sometimes you don't feel like you're just, okay, I'm ready to get back to the action now. But every time it starts to feel like that, something happens with a character and you start getting, hypnotized by the story again. And you're really wanting to know what's going on with everybody in relation to your characters and so on and so forth. Especially all the romantic tension between certain characters. All of which you are really in control of, in the sense that the bonding activities outside of the combat scenarios, that's up to you who you spend your time with on your free days and in your free time. That's a variable as far as, future playthroughs. So bee larvae and plant bits. Well, that's a little bit of shadowing as to what kind of enemies we're going to be seeing. Giant bees. Fantasy Star. Nah, I would never suggest this game took anything from anyone else, but it's got some elements that make me think Phantasy Star. Just like I talked about in the review. We got robots, but we got swords too. Hey, they can work together. They really can. It makes for some of the most neat characters. This whole futuristic, yet not in the future type thing. Just works. Yeah, Ice, congratulations on your review on your channel. That's fantastic. If any of y'all did not see Ice's new review, it's up on his channel. He's back on the scene. Captain, not any fully exposed now. I don't think the game actually gets down like that. But then again, what do I know? This is my first rodeo with this. Yeah, I'm playing 3 and I'm working backward. But the tension is definitely there. A lot of these young ladies seem to really have it in for the instructor. And I think Yuna and Kurt have a little something going there that they don't want to admit's going, but it's going. It's going. Sandy's the cook. But this, following in the footsteps of many great RPGs, has some cooking sim aspects to it, in which there's different grades of food that can be made. Now, I don't know if there's any of that yet, and maybe I'm not far enough to answer that question. Again, I mean, so much has happened. I mean, I think I'm like 20 hours in on this, and we're still barely scratching the surface of the first chapter. It's a long game, and when I say those things, it sounds like a complaint. It's not. These games, you really find yourself distressed when they're over, because you're like, man. But Japan's already on the 4th one, so God willing, NIS will bring that out here to us, and we'll get a translated version of that too. And maybe by then I'll be caught up on the other games, but I doubt it. Yeah, Freddy's up to no good. We may have to have him taken care of. Now these robots are what's up, and they really fill out the combat nicely. I love the attacks and hit by location. Takes me back to the old pen and paper days of playing Robotech with D20s and pencils and notebooks. Yeah, it's huge, man. And like I said in the review, the tutorial does such a great job of involving you and teaching you simultaneously. You don't get bored with it. You don't even really feel like you did a tutorial. You just come out of some good gameplay knowing where you stand on some things. And that's the mark of excellence. It really is. John from Gen X Grown Up has joined us, and it's always fantastic to have John right here on the Emceemur show. John did a Pac-Man machine comparison earlier tonight. He's been on a roll with those. First one took me 120 hours to beat. God, you single fellas have got the game time. I haven't had game time like that since I was a teenager. Just too busy, man, chasing my kids around and doing the domestic thing. And it's whatever. Everything's eventual. You'll get these games done, right? But not in time, because by the time I'm done, Trails of Cold Steel 8 will be out, and I'm like, God, it's what Final Fantasy did to me back in my band days. Got done with 7, 8, and then it's like, well, here's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. It's like, stop, I can't. I'm out. I'm retiring. Can't do them. I can't keep up. It all started when I had to start 8 over, and then 9 hit, and I was like, wait, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. It just kept going. Any climbing animations in the same... Actually, yes. Not in that it looks bad. It actually looks great. But in that it was maybe a little more revealing than it should have been. Yeah, the animations in this, unlike Conan, are absolutely divine. And you talk to everybody because it's relevant what they have to say. Unlike, say, a Pokemon game where you talk to like 30 different people in a town and it's just, I wonder why my grass is growing today. My farts stink. And then you watch something on the TV in his house and it's like, my Pikachu farted. And then it's like, why am I doing this? I can literally go through the whole game and not talk to anybody because it wouldn't make a difference. Except the one person that tells you an item's over here, or gee, I really need a bicycle. I hope you can find one, or just whatever. That's what really makes a role-playing game drag, is irrelevant NPCs, and this doesn't have that. All the characters have got a dimension to them, and it does its best to interest you in each and every one. How's the music overall? Intense. And when it kicks into the intro, I mean, it's like you're watching the best anime you've ever seen in your life, and it just gets you amped. It's got all the qualities a game like this should have, the way it should have them. This guy right here, he's kind of a hothead punk, and he's always pushing people around and ready to put his dukes up. You know, they give these characters personality so that it matters when they do things and when they say things. I beat a couple Pokemon games, and that was it, man. I got on one and just... I was waking up holding my 3DS, slobbering on myself. I was like, this shouldn't happen in a game. It shouldn't. Alright, so we are going to take a walk. Yeah, the greatest thing about a lot of these games, and I can't remember if you're getting one with it or not. I'm going to check, but normally there's always a soundtrack on these things when you buy them. Just about anything I've ever bought from NIS America had the soundtrack. An art book, and there's a soundtrack. Anthems of the Thor's Branch Campus. So, always some music to jam to. Something you just said woke up my Alexa. I don't know nothing about that. I'm afraid to have one of those. I'd probably end up with weird things coming to the house, like a bag of farts or something. Because we say wild things around here, and Amazon sells literally everything, so. Too advanced for me. Alright, we're about to get down to some fighting. Fighting! Already had 20 minutes of talking, and y'all missed the hour of talking before it. Are there any Conan climbing animations in this game? Oh my god, when we played the demo for Conan Exiles, and you can go back on the channel and watch it in my live streams playlist. And not the one with the big spider. You got to go back to the demo of it. I was on fire. I was singing songs that were awesome about the game and just cracking me up. Cracking myself up. That's not a great property in a person or a great characteristic, but I was. Smash JT has joined us. Welcome, Smash, to Tuesday night live streams. You're in time to see some action on Trails of Cold Steel 3. We're about to get into some combat commencing here very shortly. I know what you mean about being backed up, man. I am backed up like an impacted colon over here, and I'm not even done unpacking since we moved in. The games, they're gonna find me buried in them one day. I can't get them all done. It's funny the polar opposites that we've had in life, because if you grew up as a kid in the 80s or even earlier, some of you, you know that back then there was no abundance of games. There was an abundance of time. And now that's completely shifted. I have more games than I'll ever be able to play in the rest of my life. So they're telling us about having an extra. And apparently we can tag fighters in and out.
Wow, what a view! Oh, and it's so relaxing.
Yeah. If not for the monsters, it'd make a perfect place for a picnic.
So you want to sneak
I
on
can
the
see that.
monsters. And before we do a monster, let's get a look at that water. That's not bad as far as water goes. And you know, for me, good water is the hallmark of excellence in any game. See, we're going to get up on this thing, coming from behind. We've got the advantage. Now you also have the option to do a one-time strike, an actual hack and slash attack, and that add to that advantage. I don't think we're going to need it here from these little Ewok head looking things, but then again, I could be wrong. Wonka, I think he's done. Critical triggers the assist. Altina comes in with a right hook.
My turn.
All right. Yeah.
Kurt just got
Now.
skint to the bone by that thing. Ooh.
I'm up.
So that's when you want to move and
Very
get
well.
to where they can't make multiple
Yeah.
hits, because some of the enemies can
I'm
do
up.
that.
Sit. It's down.
It ain't down by much. Those things are strong. So this game is $56.99 on Amazon
Yeah.
for
thanks
the
as
early
always.
enrollment edition, so that's not bad. Is it worth it? No, it's definitely worth it. I am being attacked by Yeti heads. That's the first I've seen of those in this game.
Yeah, I did
Yuna's
it.
excited because she's leveled up, and we're very proud of her. She's my favorite character so far. Her and Muse are my favorite. Oh, I see something over there that looks most disagreeable. Yep, we've got a lot to do. Let's do it. Let's do it! Ahem, this is the way to Parm. Oh, oops, we're supposed to go the other way. So they do kind of keep you boxed in. I mean, I don't know what you would call that. So many JRPGs do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a quasi-open world, if you will. And then when they force you to stay on a certain path, then there's that. There's still a moderate level of exploration as far as... God, look at this thing.
Now, bring it on.
Ribbit-a-boop!
I shall
You
go.
can tell who got a new weapon and who didn't.
Yeah.
My turn.
Oh, Kurt. Kurt's probably my least favorite character so far.
Let's go.
Look at him hunched over. Come on, Kurt. We're not even out of the first chapter yet. Why don't you take care of that Ewok head like a real man?
Everyone okay?
Yuna's watching. What would she think? We're going to need you to go ahead and step up and handle that monster like a man would handle it. Been playing a bit of Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers on Switch. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was interested in that one. I was intrigued in what it was, and it just really wasn't on my radar. But there again, I say that from a point of ignorance. Like, I don't really know where that game's coming from. I may be missing out. The short version of what I'm trying to say is hopefully you're making a video on that, because I'd like to get your take on it. There's not much from this publisher that I don't get down on. There are a few that are outside, not my comfort zone, but, you know, the part of the genre that I gravitate to that I'll skip over. Because obviously there is only so many 200-hour frickin' RPGs you can engross yourself in. But at the same time, with NIS, you don't want to miss out on any games that have got collection boxes, art books, soundtracks, anything of the sort. And that makes a lot of these, you know, day one purchases. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say on it, but yeah, I hear you. 'Cause I don't know what the dates are on that one, but I'm sure you'll give us a taste when it's time. Now, Yuna can take these Tonfa, which, wow, Tonfa, neat weapon choice, but she can change them into gun mode. So she can do ranged attacks on some of these turds. Watch this. What a niche! And she crits. And we're gonna do a link attack.
Leave it to me.
They might have finished him.
My turn.
Finished one of those turds.
There.
A lot of freedom in
This
it
is
as
nothing.
far as the fact that a lot of turn-based games, you know, they just line you up, they line the enemies up. There may be tiers of distance, but in this, we've got the whole thing to kind of move around and, you know, play strategy and... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I was going to see if I could trade him out for the other gal. Oh, have a seat, Kurt. Why'd we even
That was
bring
foolish.
you? Hopefully the other gal will come in without
Let's
having
go.
to be prompted.
It's my turn. Take this. I should
Yeah, we're about to buy 2 more Switches. I'm probably going to buy a couple of lights for my wife and daughter, because we've got Animal Crossing in a couple of months, and that's a family affair. It just is.
begin retreat.
No, I don't want to flee. That's not what I wanted to do. Maybe I can't swap Kurt out because he's dead. Oh well. Poop on.
Yeah. Targets eliminated. Move out.
Altina don't play. She's got this mech unit she summons. Alright, so let's see if we can't change the order here. I missed what they said to do as far as switching them out. Change party order. There we go. Alright, Kurt. You can sit on the bench where you belong. He's always falling behind. He's never done well. I'm guessing we can probably fish somewhere around here. Flight in the morning. You're the man about the world, sir. Much traveling. But thank you so much for stopping in, Big John. And I don't know where you're headed this time. But we bid you good journey, Gwildor. And got a collaboration coming up with the Gen X guys pretty soon too. I do. Oh, this looks like it's going to be a problem.
Let's regroup. I'm up. Crimson Slash!
She's actually a homunculus. She is a synthetic being with no soul.
Yes.
And she does a good job playing that part. A hyenodon.
Now's my chance. Mortal Mirage.
Oh, yes.
I
That
shall
gun, though.
There.
Well, that didn't do much.
I'm up.
Here I go.
Oh,
There.
God. Now, I should have changed her to melee attack. She was
we
close
did it.
enough. Getting Your Nerd On has joined us. Everything's great, man, and thank you for watching the review. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it doesn't really get a lot cooler than this, and I've played a lot of RPGs in my
You never
day.
cease to amaze, Major.
And that thing over there
Yeah.
looks pissed.
You were so.
So, let's see. Ooh. But yes, welcome to the stream. Getting Your Nerd On has been doing some Let's Plays on actual Tiger LCD games, and if you told me how you were doing it, I don't remember, but it's pretty ingenious, and it's on screen, and something I grew up with a lot in the day. A lot of you did that collect. Really neat. I advise you to check that out on their channel if you haven't already. Claire's back. I love seeing old faces. Yeah, see, and I mean, I get the feeling that, yeah, she must have been from, but, you know, I'm none the wiser. And I'll just, again, this will be like Mass Effect for me all over again, going back and like, oh, that's that person that did that. Okay, yeah. I mean, is it ideal? No. But so people know that I come from a place of genuineness on these
Glad
things.
to hear it. I'm part of the team for now.
I was
so
playing
whatever you
retro
need, just say
and
the word.
retro only. Didn't even know it was called retro.
It's strong. Please be extra careful.
Oh, God. Until about
my turn.
2010. And even then, I picked up a 360, because what did I know? So, as far as all of the stuff on PS3 RPG related, I missed out on a lot of that. I just wasn't there for it. I think we can hit all of them with this. Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Ready.
And you know this gal's got to have something wicked.
Huh?
I mean, just look. And I know it's
Shatter.
sniper rifle. It's something you see a lot with these games, these real over-the-top animations when
go.
it comes to the special maneuvers. But this game, if any of them outdoes himself, this one does. It's just tremendous. Get him, Yuna. Rip him up.
My turn.
Let's do a heal job on these three.
I'll support. Arjun heal.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Maybe they didn't need it. Is that really all the hit points he's got? I guess so, they're in yellow. I'm reading chat, not paying attention. 360 was good, just not a lot of RPGs. And you know what? They actually did have a handful big enough for me to even have a backlog on that side. Just nowhere near what PS3 got. But they had some pretty good games on that side.
Second form, Gale!
I think that was good.
Here I go.
Let's light them up.
It's my turn. Huh?
My turn.
This thing is definitely tough.
I'll support. Arjun
I know
heals.
he
Thanks.
needs to be healed. Well, Wonka.
It's my
I got
turn.
a lot of tactics RPGs on 360, like Spectral Force and the Agarest War series, which some of those were on PS3 as well, but yeah, 360 and 2010 just seemed like the obvious thing. In fact, I had a PS3 and I set it up on the table, and at that point they had the Slim, and I asked if it would play my other PS2 things, you know, just coming out of a fog from being on an NES for decades, and the guy was like, no, it won't. I was like, are you serious?
Arcus
I mean,
activate.
that makes no sense to me
It's
why this
my
thing
turn.
is not backwards compatible. And of course, we know now what we know about which ones are backwards compatible, and obviously
There.
most of them are not.
I'm up.
But yeah, I put it back on the shelf that day, and I stayed retro, and it was months before I said, you know what, we'll look at the 360. And the reason I looked at the 360 had nothing to do with RPGs, I can tell you that. And stop me if you've heard
Let's
this
go,
when people
Altina.
have watched the show, but
Understood.
I was in a restaurant in Athens, and there was an ad on TV for EA's MMA that was coming out, which was kind of a sidestep from the UFC franchise, and in my opinion, did what it did better, yet it didn't stay around.
We did it!
But it was so cool, and I had fighters I knew, and Strike Force, and it was just really, really neat. I said, you know what? It's time. I'm buying it for that. And while I'm at it, I said, I want to be able to play some Halo online. I want to play a shooter online. I want to be able to do that in my home, something I haven't done. You know, I hadn't touched a Halo game since original Xbox, and since it was a thing at that point, and new and fresh. So, yeah,
All
that's
right,
where I
got
was.
it.
I went and got a 360, and MMA and Halo Reach had just come out. It was the new one. We had no idea if that was good or bad at that point. And that was it. I joined the future. And boy, it
Treasure
felt like
located.
it too. It felt like after being, you know, on a desert island for 20 years, and you come back and you're like, or like Planet of the Apes, and you come back to Earth after many years, like, what? Oh my God, what is this? What has happened to the world while I've been hiding in my NES and my Sega Genesis? Let's see who needs an accessory. Allows, okay, prevents blindness. Well, that would simply suggest that there's an enemy in the area that can cause that. So when you
Chance to
strike like
attack.
that, you get the triple advantage. That's going to boost your initiative, attack damage, crit, and all that stuff, from what I can tell. Now, yeah, let's hit him with that. Ribbit up a boosh!
Yes.
Oh, can't hit him. Okay, maybe that's not the one we want to do. Let's do this and hit everybody.
Huh?
This is getting me so hyped for this game. Yeah, oh my
Shatter.
God, dude. And Indivisible looked neat. Just another one I can't afford to add right now. And
Battle
then
complete. Let's proceed.
Triple J brings up a good point. There are D&D games out today on current gen systems. Why are we not doing that on the show? Well, first of all, we have an NIS game, so you know that's priority for me. Always will be. But we ordered those, and we ordered the largest collector's edition for those D&D games. And once again, I'm being punished for doing that. The publisher has said that it won't ship till mid-December. Yes, there's a whole month in between that I'm not going to get to play those games, and then I'm not going to have that unboxing for you, and that's just, yeah, no, can't handle it. So that's where we're at with that, and I'm not too happy about it. I'm glad the games exist. I'm glad I'm going to get them. Maybe I'll even be caught up enough to look at one by that point, but yeah, it's gotten real since then, man. We just didn't know. We had no idea. And when we got the PS1 and the N64, we thought we had an idea. We thought we had an idea. We were like, oh wow, look at all these polygons. Actually, no, we didn't. People, oh, they were all polygonal. We didn't say it was that. We thought it was pretty realistic. We thought it hung the moon. I remember playing the fighting games on PS1, playing WCW versus the World and K1 Arena Fighters. I'm thinking, this is it. Welcome to the revolution. We have arrived. And you look back at it now, and it looks ugly as hippopotamus farts. It just does.
Shit! Take them down!
Stunned him. So you can do a charged attack or just an attack. The way you go about it and the angle you hit them on will all come from the single, double, triple advantage that you get.
Crimson Slash!
It's my turn.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting a QLED TV for our sitting area
It's
that we're
my turn.
making in the master bedroom.
Yeah!
We've already got a
My
TV
turn.
on the wall in front of the bed that's like a jumbotron. But we're making a separate sitting area for gaming, family
It's my
gaming, or
turn.
just whatever. Not that I need that for God's sake, but doing a sitting area, popcorn maker, the
It's
whole
my turn.
works. Because obviously the X would be a great thing to watch,
Battle
you
complete.
know, 4K
Good
flicks
work,
on
everyone.
too. And I gotta get an X. But yeah, I would be keen to see some of those games on there and really see the difference of what I've been missing. Even my monitors in my rig here are not 4K. Can't stream in 4K. It's all the refresh rate that I want with 1 millisecond response time and 1080 on these and true 144 hertz. It looks tight. I mean, as tight as these systems are going to put out anyway. Then we have to talk about a Project Scarlet and 8K output, and it's like, my old eyes aren't ready for that. So, bring it on. As an old timer gamer now, I hate to say that, as a seasoned gamer,
Our chance to attack.
I'm ready to move in further into the future. I'm okay with it. Not so much in the embrace the digital and all that
Yes.
stuff aspect of it, but in the fact that we're moving forward at such an alarming rate now.
Here I go! There!
And we kind of just have to roll with that if we want to not be left out in the cold with what our favorite franchises, characters,
was great.
publishers
You've
are
improved,
doing
Yuna.
moving forward.
No,
So,
I didn't do that much.
I love the convo in between too, because you notice they both they did a finish together, so they talked together after the match, and so detailed, man. The character interactions, everything about this is just tight. And yes, we're just grinding and talking here because it's an RPG, and that's what you do. You've already got to see a good example of character interaction,
combat.
and now we're seeing the combat. So you can bet that the game consists of a whole lot of both, and you're seeing the best of both worlds here within this hour. An hour is not enough time to show you a chip off the block of what this game's got to offer. It's just too dadgum big. Look at that.
complete.
She just
Let's
finished
proceed.
all them. This is the girl right here. Kurt, you're fired. You're fired, Kurt. That's the thing, we can't fire Kurt. He's the main character. I'm pretty sure him and Yuna are going to hook up. But what do I know? Here comes the Yeti head.
Right there is the south
Yeti
gate
and
to
my
St.
spaghetti. I didn't get the hit off in time, so there's a little bit of skill to it. If you can't get the strike in before the encounter ensues, it's no good.
Yes. Ha!
It's my turn! There!
I shall go.
I shall go. Moronga.
There. Battle complete. Let's continue.
So Altina is 14 years old. She's a homunculus. She flies around on that mysterious imaginary robot thing, and she likes pancakes. A little bit about her background. Again, these are three-dimensional characters we're working with here. They have really neat backgrounds.
Sit! 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 Our chance!
Sounds like he's saying something there that I don't want to repeat for fear of the algorithm, but No, it's Kurt, and yeah, he's definitely not going to get it together. He hasn't had it together all game.
It's down!
He has been a thorn
Let's
in
go,
my
Altina.
side and a liability.
Yes.
Always getting hit. Always doing just no damage.
More hostiles.
And it's
Here
like
we
I
go.
can buff him, but it's like, am I polishing a turd? Probably. Now, if you notice, we're right into another encounter here. This does something similar to what we saw in Alliance Alive
Yes.
just the other week. Chaining the attacks, which is really cool because exponentially you are going to do more in the way of your XP
There.
if you're busting a bunch of
Now.
monsters up at one time.
It's
And
mine.
going for additional achievements within each
I'm up.
one. If you notice, you get paid off for being unscathed and a number of different things that you can satisfy in the course of getting a really good fight
Now.
on. Baraga.
Yeah.
Yes. There.
Love that gun.
It's my turn!
First Trails took me 8 hours to find out that it even had the relationship. Yeah. The only reason I think I knew it was going to be in there was just that it started talking
All right.
about the,
Nice work.
you know, the bonding elements. I think we know what bonding means. I think we know they're not going to be gluing wood together.
Yeah, I did it!
And there's moments early on that hint to some of that romantic tension between some of the characters. And I won't talk about that simply because I feel like it's borderline spoiler stuff. You want to let the story influence you the way it influences you, and, you know, interact with these characters the way you think they should interact with each other, because obviously there's multiple ways this can go. Now, if you notice, those things are charging up that little meter there in the bottom right. That's what allows me to do a charged hit and not just a regular swing on an opponent before the battle commences. This is probably a big one here, so let's just do it on this one. Got him.
Everyone, attack
And we
at
got the
once.
triple advantage, and we're going to be busting him up. We're ripping him up!
It's down!
I'll assist.
Scratch
Ready.
one.
Ha!
All right! Yeah!
Now.
You know. Really?
Yeah. Battle complete. Let's continue.
They time you, they grade you, they tell you what you did, and the link aspect, because you can decide who links with who, levels up too. So they form a combat bond, not necessarily just romantic ones in this game. So much to think about, and in all those different aspects, so much to look at in the way of replay value. How much better could I have done with this character and this character, you know, working together more? Or did I not nurture this character enough? Or what if I lean on this one harder, you know? Just ask so many questions, because there's so much you're not going to be able to just go back and do over again. There's only so much game, and there's so much development to be done in so many aspects with so many characters. That's why we love games like this. And again, as I spoke about in the review, it is that complicated. It is that in-depth, but it does so in a way that does not bore or confuse, but rather engage and
Wow.
educate.
This place has such a nice atmosphere.
And I would think going back, you know, again, it's the perspective I'll have, is less will be more. Like maybe I'll get into the earlier installments and I'll be able to hit the ground running a little bit better.
But for a place that's supposed to be chalk white, everything here looks pretty gray.
In the Dark Ages, Heimdall was struck by a disaster. The Emperor at the time moved the citizens here and made it the new capital.
Characters who don't like each other won't link and perform more poorly on a team together. See, that's
Back then, this place was a brilliant
it's a
shade of
chemistry
white.
thing. Gotta make an all Madden team.
You sure know a lot. Of the 5 big cities in the Empire, this one has just as rich a history as Heimdall. Actually, since Heimdall has been rebuilt before, it may be safe to say this city takes first place for historical buildings.
Oh, wow.
I was not aware of all
Of
that.
course you weren't.
Major?
Instructor Claire?
Is something wrong?
No. I was just thinking how long it's been since my duties last took me here. Marquis Hyarm's mansion
Well,
is
we all gotta
located
take a
past the
duty once in a
cathedral in the
while,
back
Major
of the
Claire.
Northwestern District.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
I can guide you there.
We'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Welcome to Can of Worms, Noble District. There won't be anyone to talk to here or anything, or to play cards with. Excuse me, how about a round of Gwent? Thinking about playing some cards, specifically Gwent. No, it's called Vanguard something, the Vanguard Masters or something. The card game
Thank you
is
all
called.
for coming.
And they to add that in, it's putting a hat on a hat, but it's such a nice hat.
I am
It's a
Fernand
collectible
Hyam,
card
the
game
one in
in the
charge
game,
of the Sutherland
so
province's well-being.
Come on with it. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You won't actually have to pay money for your cards other than in-game money. So no microtransactions.
It's good to see you again, Rena.
I didn't mind the
been some
microtransactions in
time.
Madden, but it got to where
I hear you've
people
been
spend
taking
their
care
life
of my
savings
son,
on it, to
Patrick.
where it's like you're spending more money than I ever would, and it gets so far ahead of itself so quickly. Especially with a game that goes live usually 3 days
It's
before
good
it
to
even
see you again,
launches
too.
with EA Access and the other things. You just got to do that and only that.
But about Patrick, it's quite the
And
opposite.
I can't keep up.
He's been a good friend and helped me out a number of times.
I'm sure he would be honored to hear that. Were you aware he's currently helping out in Ordis?
Actually, yes. He came with me when I first went to the branch campus. We caught up during the train ride.
Eat the train ride.
Oh, and it's good to see you too, Celestin.
Indeed, Master Reen.
A bespectacled butler.
I
He certainly
returned to
has a
St.
theme
Art
going
last
with the
year,
hair and the
leaving
tie.
Master Patrick at the school. But it seems he grew up wonderfully in my absence. I can't thank you and his other classmates enough, Master Reen.
Really, I didn't do much. Let me introduce the students of Class 7 Special Operations.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Una Crawford.
Don't be nervous, Una. Own it. You're MVP.
I'm Kurt Vander. It's a pleasure to
I'm
meet
Kurt
you.
Vander. I have 0 hit points, and I am a detriment to the Force and a disgrace to my family. Yeah, voiceover during the major cutscenes and reading on it, because you got to think there is so much text in this. If they had to voice over everything in this game, they'd all died of laryngitis.
Altina Orion.
But they do
Nice
it where
to
it
meet
counts, the big moments.
Ah, so this is the new Class 7. I wasn't expecting to find a son of the Vander family here.
Yeah, especially one
I'm
that's knocked out with
indebted
0
to your
hit points.
father. It's a pleasure
Shouldn't he
to
be
meet
laying
you
down?
too.
Lay down and count to 10, Kurt. You're out.
Thank you for your kind words.
Even though I'm knocked out. but
Now,
I'm a
Major
punk.
Reveld. Would you mind if I saw to Reen's business here first?
Not at all. I would actually like to hear the details myself. Would it be okay if I stayed and listened?
That's perfectly fine.
So Rod Stewart
Marquis
and his
Hyams?
butler here are going to tell us a few more things.
We're here to report that we, the Thor's Military Academy branch campus, have begun our field exercises in Sutherland.
Understood.
You can just feel the
I
story
expect
building.
great
though.
things from you.
The poop's going to hit the fan. They've already pretty much been sent to their
Requests,
deaths
if you would,
where
Celestin.
they are, and they all accept that, knowing that
Yes.
they can't handle this. There's no future anyway. There's a
take
lot
this.
of depth to the story, and it's really neat. Ice says he's a bad guy, calling it now. Very well may be. We won't find out tonight. But then again, I'm not going to stream this game 48 times. There's just too much of it. The idea of tonight was to kind of bounce some ideas off you guys, show you a little bit more of the flow, more so than you saw in just the review. and just to all in all really enjoy visually what this game does, because just look at these characters. The whole thing is really just a pleasure to look at. Is Reen their teacher? Yeah, Reen is their teacher. So yeah, there's a little backstory from Triple J. He was in class 7 3 years ago. So basically he's just graduated and been offered a teaching job. Humble as he may be, monsters made of metallic parts. See, and what wasn't that the crucial switch in Phantasy Star 2, you know, after Climatrol and all that, when you come out and all the squishy, gooey, slimy monster enemies were replaced with robots, and, you know, everything changed. The whole dynamic of the game to blend those two elements made for such interesting combat, interesting enemies, and a unique world in which to roleplay. We simply exist in a time today where you can do so much more with this down the line. You know, like I said, this is genre defining at its level and in its time, and it is so far beyond the state of the art. Yeah, totally tied together in a Mass Effect sense. You're gonna need to know all these characters coming up, and like Triple J was saying, that there's even a thing to move some stuff over to the other games, at least in the monetary sense. So, and you know, Mass Effect did that, where, you know, if somebody was dead here, they're going to be dead there. So much replay value to see how the stories would have ended up. I mean, you got to love that. And any game that does the generational thing, you know, those games too. I don't think that this does, but any way that a game can bring you that kind of replay value in that format, where it's from installment to installment, whew, it's pretty much instantly a winner in my book, all whatever else aside. So we're parting ways. Well, you're going to leave us with old busted Kurt. Maybe we can walk around town and scare him up a healing potion. A whole nother. Okay. So we're gonna need to do a little fishing. We need to find a cat. And we need to dye some clothes. Whoa, look at the paycheck there. Do they come in a... You mean the cars, do they come in a pack? From what I saw, they were available separately. And at different prices. If there are packs, I don't know if that happens later on. The initial shopkeeper I saw had a few different ones for sale. And I assume that you will win them in the game too, because they've already said that you have to give the player some cards if you lose. I don't know if that actually happens or not, but in the initial dialogue of the tutorial, watching two other NPCs play, that's what transpired. So we see how we're going to get our money here, and we see how we're going to make the initial upgrades we were not able to make the lesson there is I probably shouldn't have sold those resources earlier on, although I feel like it made the grinding to this point a lot easier. There were some moderately tough fights in there. Yeah, we already knew that that's what he wanted. Herb Helper. It's like the vegan version of Hamburger Helper. And I'm 100%ing it. I'm not leaving any quests undone because why do that? There's some really weird units of measurement in this game. Selge and Arge and no idea what that means. I probably would if I'd played the first two. The teardrop. Kurt, go get a healing potion. Tell him, Una. That's how it'll be. Oh, listen to Kurt worried about his fatigue. Chug a 5-hour energy, tough guy. We got grinding to do, homie. He's thinking back. I would assume these scenes may mean something to Triple J. They do a lot of those flashback sequences. Yeah, get good, Kurt. In fact, do it soon. We really need you to. You already gave your all, Kurt. You're at 0 hit points. We know what your all is. So there you have it. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3. Coming our way from NIS America. You know, this is not even a surface scratch, much like the review was not, of everything a given player has to look forward to in this installment and in the series at large. So much going on. And so thankful was I to be able to take an early look at this with you. And again, thanks to NIS America for making that happen. A fan of just about everything that comes out of there. You know, almost all of it is just right in my wheelhouse of, you know, stuff that I enjoy playing, the types of games that I really gravitate to and just want to make a career move on, retire on, stay on for hours and hours. Yeah, there's nothing to not be sold on. It's fantastic. And you can get the other installments a little less, you know, as far as cost goes. They know what they are, so. Yeah, nothing not to like there. Nothing not to like.
Here I go!
You change characters there for the walk around. If you get bored looking at the same person. And you will. Just fantastic. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. This was a fun TNL. Excited about this game. Great to take a look at. If you're still in the chat, if you're watching the recap later, if you were here earlier and you want to go back in time with the DeLorean and do so, please leave a like on this video and share it with a friend. Let them know that this is coming out October 22nd. There's still time to reserve your copy. Get that steelbook. Do it the way it needs to be done. And just enjoy it in all its frickin' majesty. Fantastic stuff. Signing out for this TNL is Emceemur. And I will see each and every one of you again next time.